If you reach the point where you can barely even walk, it's too late to go and grab your wheelchair. You've already started to flare if you're at a point where you're having trouble moving and walking. Some of the worst advice I've heard given to people with chronic pain is just push through the pain, or no pain, no gain. But that's actually really terrible advice, especially if you have a chronic pain condition. The reason why pushing through your pain with chronic pain won't work and serve you well is because your body is already trying to tell you that it's tired. Your body is already trying to say, hey, I need rest in order to be able to semi-function again. And if you continue to push yourself past your limits and past your limits and past your limits, it's like stretching a rubber band out farther and farther and farther until eventually it's going to snap. And that's going to hurt a heck of a lot. My wheelchair that I sit in right now, and that I sit in basically every day, that's my freedom. Not the chains that hold me back. But I didn't start in the place where my wheelchair was my freedom. You should understand that it takes time to get there. I found that I had stigma against myself having a wheelchair. And I think it's because of the societal norms are not necessarily good when it comes to wheelchairs all the time. In fact, I used to think that getting my first wheelchair would make me a lot more disabled. And I avoided it for probably longer than I should have. In reality, having a wheelchair, even if it was for a just-in-case purpose of having a really bad pain day, it allowed me to have more time to spend with my family and to actually be able to enjoy it, which is a huge deal when you've been dealing with something so heavy and so hard and so in your face as a chronic pain condition, especially a chronic pain condition that has no known FDA-approved cure, such as complex regional pain syndrome, or CRPS. So when my CRPS first started, I was able to walk fairly normally, but I did have a lot of pain. And I was kind of like, well, this isn't normal after a surgery. I should be able to, regain my strength within a couple months and be able to walk again, right? But then my physical therapist is the one that caught the CRPS, and he said, that doesn't look good. What happened next is the fact that eventually I slowly degressed in my progress and lost the ability to walk, and the CRPS spread quite quickly up my leg and to my toes, to my ankle. I mean, it started in my ankle and it just took over my entire leg in just a couple of years. And I eventually got to the point where I couldn't walk anyway. So I was using a knee scooter 24/7, but because I was using a knee scooter, somehow I thought that made me less disabled because people didn't see me in a wheelchair all the time. I think it was also harder for me to accept a wheelchair because it really felt like part of my identity, and part of who I had been up to that point was suddenly just torn away from me in a short amount of time. I didn't really feel ready to accept for myself that maybe it was time to accept that I needed a wheelchair. I also found that when I did use a wheelchair, even for those just-in-case days or for the days where I knew that it would be quite an active day, doing an activity with my family, I realized that I could have my leg up and I didn't have to worry so much about the swelling that comes from CRPS. So I realized that by being in the wheelchair, I could do more things, and I started to feel better. If you out there in the Phoenix family want an opportunity to start to feel better with your chronic pain, I have a brand new resource for you guys, and I'm so excited to share this with you guys. I have put together an entire checklist, quick start guide to managing your chronic pain. And when I say managing, I mean like figuring out how to live the best life you can have with chronic pain and to rise above it, to rise from the ashes of your chronic pain. If that sounds like something you need and you want right now, I encourage you to come and get it. It is a free resource. You can find yours at rise.onefootedphoenix.com. I remember how nervous I was to start using a wheelchair. I was nervous that people might treat me differently if I took my wheelchair to church and didn't take my knee scooter to church. I didn't want people to pity me. I really just wanted to be able to get around without having so much pain or being in so many flares afterward. And that's where it becomes really important. Yes, a lot of them probably didn't realize how severe my condition was because I just wasn't the kind of person that really liked to show it much. But also because, I didn't use my wheelchair very much when I was in public situations. So, what are you waiting for in getting a wheelchair? What sort of things do you feel like stand in your way of being able to use a wheelchair, even if it's just for the just-in-case days? Let me know in the comments down below what questions you might have about using a wheelchair and chronic pain, or if using a wheelchair somehow would atrophy your muscles. And yeah, it could atrophy your muscles, but at the same time, if you're pushing yourself so hard that you're in so much pain you can't get up and do anything anyway, wouldn't it be better to not put yourself in bed for weeks? So if you enjoyed this video and you got something from it, I would encourage you to now click over here to see the next video about how you can get your first wheelchair if you rent or buy it, and the things that you should be looking for in your first wheelchair. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching!